This month, I'm proud to kick off a very special event in the SJS Direct universe, and that event is Fantasy Flashback Fall. And in the Fantasy Flashback Fall stories, I want to give readers a look into the pasts of the characters in the SJS Direct universe while taking a moment to teach a lesson in African American history. And the stories of Fantasy Flashback Fall are designed to educate readers about black culture, black history, and the black experience while entertaining them with an action packed adventure. And the first book that will be released as part of Fantasy Flashback Fall officially on October 22nd, but is now available in paperback, is Easting the Sands of Time. And in Easting the Sands of Time, we get a look at Princess Easting's past in ancient Egypt before she became the devilish diva and before she eventually ascended and broke Lucifer's yoke in recent Easting series stories. And in this fantasy flashback story, Princess Easting is working towards getting a time displaced teenage John Haynes back to his time of 1987. And in the story, readers are going to learn about life in ancient Egypt, ancient Egyptian culture, and learn about the role the Heliopolitan gods like Isis and Osiris played in building Egyptian civilization. Now, with Easting the Sands of Time, I wanted to do something very unique with this story, and I wanted to give readers a princess story in the style of the Disney princesses like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, Snow White, and many of these other Disney princesses. Because I always felt it wasn't fair that we couldn't get a Disney princess story with a black princess. Now, I know that they made Princess and the Frog back in 2009, but I had my issues with that story because Tiana was a frog for most of the movie, and at the end of the day, she got involved and married a non black prince, Naveen. So I decided to write a story where the black girl could be the princess and fall in love with a black prince. Because anyone who knows the SJS Direct Universe knows that Easting is descended from a royal African bloodline of Keisha, and she was adopted by Osiris, the pharaoh of Heliopolis, and was the pharaoh in ancient Egypt. So she's a real princess descended from a royal bloodline. And John Haynes is going to grow up to become the man who rules the world. So, in his own way, he's on his way to becoming a king. So, technically, this is a princess story that is in the style of Disney's princesses. And because it's a story in the style of Disney's princesses, Easting the Sands of Time is a great story for young kids. And that's one of the reasons why I wrote the story, is because I wanted to write a princess story for little black girls, and I wanted to give girls a black princess who came from a royal bloodline and show that black princesses can be in these type of stories that the Disney princesses are featured in, and show that we can have black heroines in these kind of stories, and these stories can be entertaining and give us a picture of ancient Egypt from a black perspective. Because with Easting the Sands of Time, all the characters in the story are African American, and every character is based on African American actors. Because as I was writing the story, I imagined actress Sally Richardson as Easting, Princess Easting, Michael Ealy as John Haynes, Samuel L. Jackson as Osiris, Angela Bassett as Isis, and numerous other black actors because I wanted to create a black story about a princess, and I wanted to create a black on black love story because the other issue I had with Princess and the Frog was you had the black princess, but she didn't get involved with a black prince. And that was an issue for me because when I write stories, I really want to show a picture of black on black love because black on black love is one of the most beautiful things out there. And I want to push and promote black on black love as someone who loves being black, loves black culture, and wants to tell a story that shows a black man loving a black woman and seeing the beauty in a black woman, and a black woman seeing the beauty in a black man. So that was one of the things that I really wanted to do with Easting the Sands of Time, in addition to giving you that story that told a story about life in ancient Egypt. I wanted to give you a story that showed you how black on black love transcends time and can transcend history, because it's black on black love that is one of the strongest things that is a part of black culture, but it's something we don't talk about in the mainstream media. And that's one of the things that I want to talk about when I go out here and I do stories like Easting the Sands of Time, is give you that picture of black on black love. Because if you're going to do a princess story with a black princess, as I see it, we need to have black on black love be a core component of that story. And that was something I really wanted to emphasize in Easting the Sands of Time, in this teen time travel romance, was show a black man loving a black woman, or a black boy loving a black girl, and show us that black people can come together in the roughest and toughest of time. Now, and this is a fantasy story as well, so we're going to get those fantasy elements, those action elements, and those adventure elements. And just like your classic Disney princess stories, which have all of those elements working together, they all work together in Easting the Sands of Time as well. And again, I believe that people of all ages are going to enjoy this story, because I really wanted to give people a very unique take on African American history. I wanted to show that Egyptians were black and part of black history and black culture, and I wanted to show how this was the foundation for black civilization, because Egypt was one of the big parts of ancient civilization, but it's often whitewashed. But with this story, I wanted to show what a true picture of Egypt was, where we're seeing pictures of black people in ancient Egypt. So this is a very unique story, and it was a lot of fun for me to write, and I believe you'll be entertained when you read Easting the Sands of Time. And if you want to pick up a paperback edition of Easting the Sands of Time, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com in the description box. Or if you want to wait for the Kindle edition, you can pre-order the Kindle edition, which is coming this October 22nd. I urge you to pick up a copy of Easting the Sands of Time, because you definitely won't be disappointed by this terrific teen time travel romance.